Well, a while back we did a video on Bluetti's new Charger 1, which is for charging portable power stations of all sizes. And it was entitled, "Who Needs Solar Panels?" Well, who does need solar panels? Everyone, as long as the sun is shining. But it was right down here in sunny southern Arizona where Linda and I had to go out and buy a generator, because we were getting prolonged rainy periods and we weren't able to keep our 12-volt compressor refrigerator going. And that's where this Charger 1 came in, because it uses your alternator power of your vehicle to put out up to 560 watts of charging power, which made it so we could leave that big generator at home. Now, I already did the review of it, and now I've been using it for a while in both my Yukon, and now I've installed it in my pickup truck because it works. I wouldn't have gone through the trouble of installing it in my truck if I didn't like it. And the fact is, it does work. And because it works, I was able to leave our generator at home, which is pretty cool because, number one, you don't have a smelly gas generator that you're hauling around. You don't have to haul gas around. You don't have to use up all that space of hauling a generator for something that's just this big right here. It's not going to work like that for everybody because, for one thing, if you've got air conditioning you need to run, then you need a generator. But if you're just talking about charging up power stations like this Bluetti power station in here, that's what this does. When I did the review, I got two major worries. One was that it's going to destroy your alternator. I heard that so many times, it's not true. And the other thing was that I didn't show enough on how to install it. Well, the installation is so easy that I didn't think I had to. But then I found out that the worry was how to run the wires through your vehicle. And I can't really show you that because every vehicle is different. When I installed the wiring in my Yukon, it took me like 5 minutes. And when I installed it on this truck, it took me like part of the afternoon. It was so much harder. So what we're talking about is running the wires from your 12-volt car battery back to wherever the Charger 1 is going to be installed. The part about destroying your car's or your truck's alternator is unfounded for two reasons. One is that the Bluetti Charger 1 has protections built into it. For one thing, when you turn it on, it comes on slowly and the voltage builds slowly. So it doesn't just bam hit your alternator with a shock load of power. The other thing is that your alternator has the extra power to run this. You just use what the extra power is. So whatever extra power your alternator is putting out, that's what it's going to use. If you have a small alternator, it's not going to use as much power as it would if you have a larger alternator. The other thing is that it's got over current protection, over voltage protection, under voltage protection, short circuit protection. You know, it's got all those built into the Charger 1 to protect your car's system. Also, when you turn your ignition off, after about 30 seconds or so, the Charger 1 automatically shuts off too, so it doesn't drain your battery. They recommend that you start your car before you turn it on, but even if you don't, it senses the battery voltage and it takes a while to come on to give your car time to start. So it protects your car's battery and alternator that way also. Here's the other thing though. We've been towing trailers since the 1920s, and every trailer has at least one battery in it, maybe two, maybe three, maybe four. And when you hook up your car's wiring to the trailer, in other words, when you plug in that cable right there and you start your car up, it starts charging those batteries in the trailer using your alternator. So you're already using your alternator to charge the batteries when you're towing, or the house battery in your van, or the batteries in your motorhome. When you start the engine, that alternator is already doing that work. So this is nothing new. It's just that this is specially designed to charge power stations and not necessarily the batteries in your trailer like your alternator normally does. The Bluetti Charger 1 has MC4 connectors that extend out the side of it here. And right now the cable that I've got attached is one that goes to my Bluetti power station. But what if I want to charge something else like this EcoFlow River 2 Max here? How do I hook that up? First of all, in the cables that come with the River 2 Max, it has MC4 connectors just like this that are designed to go to a solar panel. And the other end is designed to plug into the back of the EcoFlow. Most power stations are going to have MC4 connectors so they can attach to most solar panels. And if you don't have something like this, MC4 connectors for your power station, you can easily get them on Amazon. Just look up the MC4 connectors and look up whatever your power station takes on the other side, and you can buy that adapter. It's quite simple to do that. But anyways, the EcoFlow comes with this. On the back side of the EcoFlow, right where the solar panel would attach here, it says that it'll take from 11 to 50 volts of DC power and up to 13 amps. So let me make sure that the Charger 1 is set for, about 50 volts then. Anyway, to change the voltage to match, all I do is go into the app. Down here it says charging voltage. Right now it says 56. And I just go in here and it asks you to disconnect the device. So it's disconnected here. It says, I have followed the steps above, yes. And now it says, you can select the model or you can do custom. Well, this model is probably not going to show up on the Bluetti app. It might, I don't know. But I'm just going to choose custom down here because I remember it said it'll take up to 50 volts. So now I'm going to change this from 56 down to 50. And now I'm going to click setup. And now it's set at 50 volts. So this should take 50 volts here. Okay, here's the EcoFlow. When you start the engine of the vehicle, there's a slight delay. So the Charger 1 isn't putting any stress on the alternator while the car is starting. And now you see that the EcoFlow is charging at 218 watts. The max that the EcoFlow will take off of that DC port is 220. So it's getting the max amount of input. Now what does this do if I just plug it into the car charger? Okay, plugged into the cigarette lighter, I'm getting about 110 watts. So basically plugged into the Bluetti Charger 1, the Bluetti Charger 1 is charging this twice as fast as the cigarette lighter will. Well, what I got going today, and my shadow on this here, sorry about that. This is the Bluetti AC 180. It's 1,152 watt hours. It's down to 50%. So I'll be plugging this into the Charger 1. And once again, every power station comes or should come with MC4 connectors. This, from here to here came with the Bluetti right here, the AC 180. So with this particular power station, instead of me putting in 12 volts from my car's cigarette lighter and only getting like 100 watts into here, I'm going to get up to 56 volts out of this and 560 watts going into here. That means instead of charging this in 12 to 14 hours, I'm going to charge this in a little over 2 hours. So how do I use this? Well, today is laundry day, plus we need to get water and gasoline and run errands around town. So that AC 180 will be charging up while we're doing that. Well, we made it to the laundromat. It was about 16 miles, plus I had to stop for gas. The engine is off now, but you can see that this is up to 99%, and that's just fine. Super easy. Okay, it's pouring down rain. It's been raining for a couple of days. Your battery voltage in your trailer is getting really low, or in your van or whatever, and you need to charge that power station up. But you're making a trip to the store, you're making a trip to go do laundry, you're going to go travel around, it's a rainy day, you're tired of being cooped up in your vehicle or whatever. All you do is just plug your power station into that Charger 1 and it's charging it up really fast instead of really slow. This would be really great also for truckers. they could make good use out of this, and I'm sure they are now because it's been on the market for a little while. Another concern I got was that the 12-volt circuit breaker switch, this is a circuit breaker switch, is located next to the Charger 1 and not next to the battery. Well, the reason they put it here is so you can turn this off and on handily without having to open the hood of your car. So this is designed to have this shut off and when you want to disconnect your power station or turn it back on or whatever. That's why they put it here. The other thing they did was they installed extra heavy wiring, and where it runs through the body of the car, it's all sheathed also like this. But I just went ahead and installed another 60 amp fuse next to my battery. I mean, why not? It cost me less than 10 bucks. And anytime you're hooking up anything to your battery, it should be fused anyway. So I just installed one next to the battery also. It's just right here. Just a simple 60 amp fuse. Now the wires for that Charger 1, the negative wire goes to the negative terminal in the battery, and the positive wire just goes to the positive terminal in the battery. It's real simple to hook up. A little more detail here. You hook up the wires to the Charger 1 first, which is very simple. It's just 4 wires you hook up there, and the instruction booklet is real simple. After you hook that up, then you hook up the battery last. As for running the wire, it was tough on this truck. I actually had to watch a video on somebody installing a stereo amplifier in the back of their truck for their boom box to learn how to run the wires in my truck. I couldn't find a way to do it. Most of the time, you just look at the firewall. Somewhere along the firewall, you'll find a rubber grommet or something similar to this one, and you can run the wires through there. The only problem is I couldn't get at this from the other side. Most cars you can. It doesn't do any good for me to show you how I ran it in this truck, because how many people own this Chevy Silverado? But the wires came through the fender right here, and they went down and they went into the paneling in here, and they came out in here, and then I ran them down underneath the carpet back here. You can see it right here just a little bit. This is the only part that shows, and this is the Charger 1 is right on the other side of this, behind this seat. That's all I did. Well, to answer as many questions as I can here, it works with a 12 volt or 24 volt system, so it'll work with, in a semi truck or whatever. It needs to have airflow because it has a fan inside for cooling, so you don't want to throw anything over the top of it here. What it does technically is it boosts the battery voltage from your vehicle. So it takes your 12 volt and boosts it up to as much as 56 volts. You adjust it for whatever power station you have by using an app that's very simple to use. We all have smartphones now, so there's no problem with using an app. If it didn't have that app, then it would have a screen on here and gauges, and it would have knobs on it, whatever. It would make this bigger, it would make this more susceptible to damage, and it would make it more expensive. Speaking of price, yeah, it's expensive. It's over $400, but what you have to compare it to is the price and the inconvenience of carrying a generator for charging these power stations. You don't have to use the wiring bundle that is sold separately with it. You can furnish your own wires and your own 60 amp breaker. Well, that's the update to my review on Bluetti's Charger 1, and I hope I addressed some of the questions, or at least maybe all of the questions that I got from the first review. And I like it. I use it all the time. And like I say, it made it so that for my needs, I don't need to bring a generator because I don't have air conditioning in this little trailer here. And remember, I do have 600 watts of solar on the roof. Works great as long as the sun is shining. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, share it, because other people need to know about this, and subscribe, please, and we'll see you around.